the members of this council wisdom and understanding in every decision they face. Amen.
Thank you so much. And I would like to respectfully ask for Councilmember Garcia Robes to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Everyone, please place the flag.
Thank you all. You may be seated. Great job, Jackie. Thank you. Bridget, are you going to read the meeting guidelines? Thank you so much.
The following guidelines have been established by the City Council. All lobbyists must register with the city clerk. As a courtesy to others, please refrain from using cellular telephones or other similar electronic devices in the council chamber. A maximum of 3 speakers in favor and 3 speakers in opposition will be allowed to address the council on any one item. Each speaker's comments will be limited to 3 minutes. No signs or placards in support of or in opposition to an item or speaker shall be permitted within the council chamber. Any person, whether participating via web platform, telephonic conferencing, or physical presence at City Hall, interested in making comments or posing questions on matters of public concern or on any item on the agenda may do so during the meeting. Members of the public may address the City Council on any item pertaining to city business during the comments and questions portion of the meeting. A member of the public is limited to 1 appearance before the City Council, and the speaker's comments will be limited to 3 minutes. The public can view public meetings on the city's YouTube page. Members of the public may hear the meeting live through telephonic conferencing using any telephone or cellular phone service. A smart device or computer are not necessary to participate in the meeting if you join by phone. All persons participating via web platform will be muted during the meeting until called upon to be heard. Participation through Zoom requires a computer or smart mobile device with a microphone and web camera. The participant may elect to participate in the meeting using audio only or appear through both audio and video. The video function of all participants appearing through video will be turned off until called upon to be heard.
Thank you so much. Item 6, presentation. I believe we have a presentation a little shorter than we expected today, but I'd like to call up to the podium our State Representative Alex Rizzo. Thank you for coming. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President, Mayor, council members, Madam Attorney, Madam Clerk, and Chief Fuente. Thank you for having, it would be us here, your city delegation. However, familial concerns have taken my colleagues and made them stay home tonight for various reasons. So Senator Diaz, Representative Avila, and Representative Fabricio have asked that we kindly postpone the legislative update, which is robust, to an upcoming council meeting. And so if we could do that, that would be wonderful. And so I bring greetings. It's great to be back home after a long session, after a special session, and now we're going back up for another special session to address a number of concerns that are pressing, especially to every resident of our city, and that would be homeowners insurance rates. Which is something that is coming to a crisis point very, very soon. And we'll be doing that very shortly. I would like to give you an update on something that we can talk about, which is FDOT, and what is going on in the Palmetto. That recently began. We spoke about that briefly, and that was to expand the Palmetto at 103rd Street or 49th Street. And that project has begun on time. It is incentive laden to finish quickly before it's scheduled to end, which is within 2 years. And so the DOT has made good on its promise to begin last month. Anyone that's driven by there can see that they took 2 lanes that were express lanes, made them into 1, thereby giving 4 general purpose lanes at 49th Street, which really I think has helped out a lot with the traffic flow. And now as they begin the construction of moving that particular pillar that is holding up that southbound ramp over the Palmetto, that is what is going to allow to expand there. But again, DOT, that's something that myself and the rest of our delegation was working very, very seriously on, and the DOT listened to us and started. And I think that's something that all of us, ran on and spoke to each one of our residents about. And listen, as that was one of the major concerns that we had. And there's a lot of other things that will happen with the Palmetto. Later on, we'll have even more presentations, possibly by the DOT if you wish. But they will have informational meetings going on throughout the entire length of the process. And with that, I would say I'll field any questions you have, but up until, we're back from the special session and we can come back and give you that full, robust presentation, I will tell you that our appropriations are sitting on the desk of the governor. And I know that the mayor has been influential in calling and making sure that shepherding that process along with the rest of your delegation to make sure that none of those items are being vetoed and that the full extent of the appropriations will come back home.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the hard work. Anyone, Mayor, or anyone? Yeah. Mhm.
I think it's, and thank you, Representative, and you and all your colleagues for the work that you did. But I think what he had talked about earlier, the work that they did on the Palmetto and making sure that we could kind of shrink those expensive lanes, really has been a godsend, I think, for a lot of us that navigate and are using that area, especially if you get on 122nd or 68th Street. So to me, it's been outstanding. We appreciate the work that all of you have done. I think you all had a very successful legislative session. I'd be remiss if we did not, and I'm sorry that he's not here today, is be able to congratulate formally Senator Manny Diaz, who now becomes the Education Commissioner for the entire state of Florida. And, he's from the city of Hialeah, and that's something that we should all take a lot of pride in, as well as all the members of the delegation who are in leadership positions. And if any of you know Tallahassee, in order to be able to deliver for your districts, you need to be in that leadership position, and that doesn't come easily. You got to, it's over a test of time. So we're fortunate. We had the Speaker Pro Tem in Brian Avila, who now will be running for the state Senate position that Manny is vacating, and the members of the delegation now that move into this area. David Borrero is one of them now that becomes part of the extended Hialeah family, along with Fabricio and Alex, Representative Rizzo. So really proud of the work that you guys have done up there. I know that when we've gone up there and visit, not just speaking for myself, but any of us that have gone up there, you guys have instantly turned a little slice of Tallahassee into a Hialeah slice, and that always makes us feel at home. And so, we just got to continue work, right? And with these elevated levels of positions and responsibility comes the responsibility of delivering for our districts and for our community. So, look forward to continue working. I know you're on the ballot now. Hopefully, and God willing, you'll be reelected, and then you can continue the good work that you're doing up there.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Representative.
Thank you. Anyone else want to say anything? All right. We don't want to distract you from your work. Thank you. Thank you all. We have a dream team up there right now, right? Right, Mayor?
Oh, absolutely.
We really do. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you all and good night.
Good night, sir. Good night. Thank you. I think that concludes, it's the only presentation we had scheduled, right? Item 7, comments and questions. Oh, okay. I was just going to ask Councilman Colville whether, okay. Come on up. Name and address for the record, Chris.
My name's Chris Medina, and I reside at 645 East 45th Street, Hialeah, Florida.
Thank you, sir. Is Isle with you? She can come up. Is that her? I need my
Her
glasses.
And, Crystal
Okay.
Garcia, that's right.
Good.
Yeah.
They can come up.
They like-
Anybody can come up. Oh, Mikey, is that your daughter? Oh, wow. Come on up, Mikey. All right. Mikey from Luz. Mm-hmm. All right. Come on up. Look at this. Another dream team. All right. Take all the time you need. You have 3 minutes, Chris.
I'll try to make it quick. So for those of you I haven't had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Chris Medina, and I am a proud yet concerned member of this community. And as you may or may not know, my team and I organized and curated a group art exhibition at the Unbranded Brewery this past month. Our show Here Today, Gone Tomorrow featured Hialeah-born or based artists addressing local environmental issues through their work and engaging the public in their creative medium. For what it's worth, and at the risk of sounding a bit smug, this was one of the first, if not the first, serious art show at the Leah Arts District. A lot of thought, energy, and love went into this project. Love for the arts, love of the environment, and love for the city that we call home. So, of course, joining me here tonight is fellow artist and Hialeahan, Ms. Crystal Garcia. Crystal's series of paintings entitled Hialeah Homes was one of the most, if I may say, delightful contributions.
My favorite.
That's right. To Here Today, Gone Tomorrow. And she graciously created these beautiful watercolor portraits of various Hialeah houses that you all may find familiar. Spoiler alert, they're your houses. As a thank you for your civil service, we give these paintings to you, our elected leaders. We hope that this will serve as a reminder of home, as a reminder that the people of this city are not just your voting constituents. We are your neighbors. Your home is our home. When our street floods, as does yours. You see, water can create lovely paintings, but it can also cause the destruction of homes and livelihoods. Environmentalism in a vacuum is meaningless. Everybody wants to go green on Earth Day, but where's that energy and enthusiasm for environmental causes the other 364 days of the year? In 2015, as part of Xavier Cortada's Clima art exhibit at the Mylander Center, the former mayor signed a climate action pledge promising to make planning for climate change a priority in Hialeah. But nearly 7 years later, little to no municipal climate action or strategy or plan has been implemented. I'll tell you this, that wasn't the first or the last time a Hialeah artist had been taken for granted. The earth is warming, the sea is rising, yet little has changed in the city of progress. That's why I implore you, Mayor Bovo, and this esteemed council to bring about the change this city desperately needs. It's not too late to act on yesterday's pledge today for a better tomorrow. And what I recommend is establishing a municipal environmental advisory board that advises the mayor and this council,
Go on, don't worry.
thank you, sir, with a positive perspective toward environmental protection, recycling, energy and water conservation, transportation, and other sustainability practices. I believe, and many artists of this community would agree, that proper guidance, resources, and funding would help address many of our current shortcomings with regard to environmental action. I'll leave you with this thought. What good is an arts district if it's inundated in sewer water after heavy rain? And why even develop an arts district if we ignore the desires of local artists? Please don't be another here today, gone tomorrow politician. If ever in doubt, look at these beautiful paintings and remember that most of your neighbors, roughly 220,000 of us, have nowhere else to go. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, all of you. Thank you for appreciate that wonderful. Brian, Councilman Calvo, can you just briefly tell us what we did with this wonderful group a couple of weeks ago with Isle
This
and
is
Crystal?
the group that, well, the city partnered with, I partnered with, thanks to the mayor's office. We were able to get some officers to help us out. But we were able to collect approximately over 500 pounds of trash from Hialeah streets in honor of Earth Day. And I think, like you well said, it should just be a start to what we need to be doing in terms of, keeping our streets and our city looking beautiful all 365 days of the year. And aside from that, we had the beautiful art exhibition at the Unbranded Brewery, and it was a sort of a weekend-long project, which I know, Monica, you were also working with. So it was a beautiful thing that we could come together on Earth Day, but I agree with you that that's something that should be done year-round. So thank you to you and to your efforts in helping organize this, and to Isle and to everybody else. This is our community, and we have to work together to accomplish these goals.
Anyone else? Anyone else?
If I may.
No,
through the
thank you.
chair,
Yes, Madam
I
Vice
just want to
President.
say that I've known Chris since he was a very young boy, since elementary school. And I'm very proud of the man that he's turned into and the voice that he has and how well he expressed himself here today. He's part of a group called Gone MIA, and he was
That's right.
influencing along with Isle and everyone else that's up here on last Saturday at our public library, teaching kids on, the importance of expressing yourself through art as well. So thank you for that. And thank you for this lovely gift you're going to give us. We appreciate it. I can't wait to see my house.
Thank you. Thank you, madam. I have another secret. We know Isle also since she was a teenager, right, Chief? Do you remember her as a cadet? She remembers you. You were her advisor. Yeah. Cadet, remember? All right. And thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mom. And Crystal, thank you. When do we get our gifts? When do we get our gifts? All right.
Wow.
When do you see that? Thank you, Crystal. I love it. Look at this. I mean,
That's
is it pretty?
yours.
If it's the most beautiful house, then it's Lewis's? Any permits? No?
Oh, it's from Google Maps.
There's my permit on the window. Wow, look at it. Did you see that? Is this cringy? Chief, arrest these people for stalking us.
That is
They
amazing.
painted our house.
We're watching you.
Were they really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see if my trees are there.
Yay.
They've grown in. That's me. Oh, thank you. I love it.
Right?
Beautiful. You're so talented.
This
Can
is
we take
awesome.
a picture?
I love
I'll take it to
this.
him if you want. All right. That's so
this.
nice. Can we take a picture?
Yes,
with
yes,
you?
come on up. So you want to come down or you want them to come up? What's best? We go down. Let's take a group picture with the artist.
Dale, que tú puedes, Mayor. Dale, que tú puedes. 7:45.
Oh, who's missing? We missed it because he signed. Did everybody else sign? So one is good enough. Show it to Lorena, the two that are missing, y dáselo a él. Yeah, he probably missed a copy. We have one fully executed. Let's find out.
Thank you, everyone, for your patience. That was wonderful. And we had such a great time at that event, too. Culminated at the brewery, at Stevens. Okay, we're at item 8. Can you please read the announcement of amendments and corrections to the agenda?
Item PZ1 is deferred until May
Carl, you-
24th, 20.
Council President, you still taking comments and
I
questions?
apologize, sir. I totally skipped over you. Sir, name and address with the restrictions, and you have the floor, sir.
Eric Johnson, Hialeah Firefighters, Local 1102, address exemption, Florida Statutes 112. Mayor and council, September 10th, we are having an event in the city of Hialeah. It's called a Fire Ops 101. In conjunction with the fire chief's office and the local union, we will be inviting our elected officials, mayor and council, to attend to experience what we do. Live at 5. It's going to be from 8 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You will find invitations in your mailbox, hand delivered to you via carrier pigeon or by hand. This will be the most unique experience of your life. This is not what you are, I guess, accustomed to. You will be actually living the life of a firefighter for a day, but not just a regular firefighter, a Hialeah firefighter. That means you will actually do more with less and for less. And you will experience what we've experienced for a very, very, very long time. You will not do which our current mayor has done with Miami-Dade County. We are not Miami-Dade County. You will fight fire. You will cut cars. You will search inside a maze in a blacked out environment, sweating short of breath. But don't worry, we're going to be right there behind you and on both sides with flashlights taking videos that you have no clue about, okay? Council members, you will join them, and all of our elected officials in the surrounding area will join us also. We hope you can make it that day, September 10th. We will send out the invitations, and don't wuss out on me, okay?
Thank you, thank you. Sounds like fun. All right. That's a threat. Sir, Chief, make a note of that threat. Yes, it's a fire term. All right. Anyone else for questions or comments? I'm sorry if I skipped over anybody. Having none, let's move on to item 8. Madam Clerk?
Item PZ1 is deferred until May 24th, 2022, and consent item D has been amended.
Consent agenda. Does anyone, that would include anybody in the audience or in the dais, want to pull any of the items in the consent agenda, A to D? Anyone?
Yes, if I may.
Yes, ma'am.
Item B, as in boy.
Vice President Perez, B as in boy. Anything else? Or anyone else? Do I have a motion? Did I rush it? Anybody else? No, I have a, madam?
D. You already pulled D, right?
No. So you want D? Very good. Anything else, Madam Casal Munoz? So I have a motion from Councilman Rodriguez. Second from Councilwoman Garcia Rovez. Please call the roll.
Ms. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Zogby?
Yes.
Mr. Calvo?
Yes.
Ms. Casal Munoz?
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Rovez?
Yes.
The consent agenda has passed except items B and D.
Very good. Please read item B into the record.
Request from Fireworks Lady and Company LLC located at 8600 Northwest South River Drive, Suite 75, Miami, Florida, 33166 for a special events permit to host an annual Fireworks Lady Demo Shoot Company gathering for product demonstration to include music played by a disc jockey, as well as to have a maximum of 2 food trucks to serve food and non-alcoholic beverages on Saturday, May 28, 2022, from 6 p.m. until 10:30 p.m. to be held at the Mylander Park Field with an expected estimate of 100 attendees, subject to compliance with the requirements of the Hialeah Police Department and the Hialeah Fire Department, as well as the insurance coverage required by the city's Risk Management Department.
Thank you. Madam Vice President, you have our attention.
Yes, thank you. I believe the last time this item was before us, the applicant was in here. I don't know if she's in council chambers today. Oh, can you come up to the podium, please, ma'am? And your name and address for the record, please.
Patricia Tamey, 8600 Northwest South River Drive, Medley, Florida, 33166.
Thank you so much, Ms. Patricia. So I had some questions the last time this item was before us, and that's why we tabled it till we had you here to ask some questions. Where is it that, I do see a map, but I wanted to double check, where is it that we are shooting the fireworks from? Is it from the general field on the grass?
I'm not sure what the field is called, but it's the same field that you shoot your 4th of July fireworks from.
So it's on the grass? Or is it on the court? That's my
No,
question.
It's on the grass. We provided a live photograph from Google Earth, so it clearly shows.
It's not colored like yours. Mine's black and blurry.
Okay.
So that's
well,
why I'm asking you the question. So it's on the grass in our field area, correct? And are you doing it on a platform? Are you putting any kind of protective, I don't know, I'm not a firework expert. So is there anything that you're gonna do to protect the grass prior?
I am not the fireworks company that is shooting. We hire a professional company that will be shooting it, and they will follow all the regulations.
Are they here today to answer those questions?
No, they're not.
Okay. Unfortunately, then I don't feel comfortable moving on the item if we're not clear on how the display setup is going
Well,
to be.
they shoot within the city of Hialeah, so you shoot fireworks from that field for 4th of July.
Our team puts that together, correct? Not,
Okay.
and that's
So-
approved prior, and we have plans, and we understand how it's going to be set up prior to doing that. So that's
Okay.
why I thought that person
Well,
would be here today to
there-
answer those questions.
And those companies that shoot those fireworks have to follow rules and regulations according to how you shoot fireworks.
So when firework companies come to sell their product, since it's now the future, they do it virtually. They send us videos. I
Sell-
haven't,
Oh,
yeah, they
we're-
send us videos of their products. Is that what you're doing? You're filming something or you're
So-
bringing?
We're not talking about selling, we're talking about shooting, right?
When we purchase displays, when we have purchased displays from other companies, they never show it. They never do it prior. They send us videos. So it's filmed at a location, and then we get the videos sent to us to see what kind of displays we want for that event. Are you putting on a show for vendors, or are you filming something? What is it that you're doing at this event?
I'm not quite sure of what your question is, but what
Are there
we
going to be people there watching the fireworks?
Yes.
Okay,
This
so
is this is a demo shoot where we are shooting consumer fireworks. These are live fireworks. And the company that is shooting the fireworks has pulled a license here for this shooting at this facility before. And they already spoke with your fire marshal. They've been doing this for 40 years.
in our city?
In the state of Florida, they do this all over the world.
Okay, all right. Well, I appreciate, I don't know, you seem a little bit kind of bothered by the questions. Whenever
No,
you
I'm
bring
not-
an
I'm not bothered
application,
by the questions
whenever
at
you bring an
all.
application up to any municipality, we have the right to just ask questions to protect our field. And you're supposed to bring the information and be ready to answer those questions. This is just a simple process, okay?
So the person that has, who is doing who we're hiring has communicated with your fire marshal on this.
Is
So we-
Chief, are you here? Can you come up for me, please?
These are technical questions that you're asking,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a meeting.
We initially, when
Name and
this was-
address, Chief,
When
for the
this was
record.
initially proposed, we asked.
Chief, your name and your address for the record before we begin, if you don't mind.
83 East Fifth Street.
Thank you.
We've spoken to the person that does the fireworks. Yes, they're certified. Initially, when this came across, my fire marshal spoke to you, and you said that what was being posted on social media wasn't the event, but when you brought it in, it was the event.
Mhm.
What you're asking for permitting now, correct?
Fire marshal did not anything of that.
Okay, well, I spoke to him, and he explained to me exactly that you came in with a permit, and then you came, and we showed you the picture of what you had on. No, okay, not my office. You spoke with my fire marshal, that you're having an event, correct? And when the fire marshal spoke with you and asked you, look, we saw this on Facebook, that you're having, you had no, okay. No problem.
So, Chief, just to be clear, has this been cleared by,
No, there's a whole permitting process.
and that hasn't been done yet?
This is just a preliminary so they can apply for a permit. It still has to go through fire prevention. And all this has to go and get approved depending on what they have.
Now, the map that was given, Chief, is that where the launch usually is at 4th of July? Because from my understanding, that's further back. There's a platform that is put to protect our field. I don't know if that would be a question for our events department.
It depends on where they have it. It would be for them. They have several, from what I see here, several different layouts when we have ours. Ours is a two-set, one behind the football field
Uh-huh,
in the Immaculate parking lot,
okay.
and the other one is near.
My map is a little bit blurry, and there's a lot of writing that I can't make out. I apologize. I do see something that says shoot area, but like I said, I don't know if that's a video shoot that they're doing or the fireworks shoot. I'm not clear.
From what I recall in the past, the shoot area was a lot closer to the stadium than the street. But again, anything that needs to be approved, the permits need to be pulled. They have to show us what they're shooting, when they're shooting,
Mhm.
and a site plan to move forward with
Okay.
any event.
Before we approve it
They need
even.
insurance, they need to show proof of insurance for the event and everything else.
Thank you, Chief. George, if you can, just guide me on the map for our 4th of July event.
Versus this one.
Yeah. Yeah, he knows.
George Hernandez, Mylander Center, Director, Assistant Director, Communications Special Event. Based on the map that is provided by her, it is being on the general field. General field is the one directly behind JFK Library. It is where we do our high display fireworks from for 4th of July. She is doing a 300-foot from a local dwelling
Mhm.
where she's shooting. That's based on the map.
Okay.
Correct. It is a 1.3, 1.4 consumer grade fireworks for that.
Okay, so it would still have to go through our fire department
Yes,
and get all
everything
the,
has to still
okay,
get
all right, well,
permitted
that's
by
fine,
fire.
all right.
A 1.4 grade consumer grade is much lower grade firework than what you normally shoot there. So the requirements are much less for the footage. And we're still within the same diameters that you use for the much higher explosive grade that you use at that same facility.
You could understand that once the city runs any events, that's planned and taken care of, and our field is they know how to preserve it. So you're an outsider that's coming in to use that field, so that's why we're asking a question to see how you're going to manage this event, to make sure that we have it the same, that parallel to our events.
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you mean that I'm an outsider.
When we run our 4th of July show, it's run by the city. The city
We're still
approves it.
professionals. And the company.
I didn't say you weren't a professional, ma'am.
Okay, but it doesn't matter. I'm not sure what you mean by calling me an outsider.
An outsider means our events department runs our own 4th of July. We don't hire, outsiders to come in. So they know how to preserve our fields. So we're just asking a question just to make sure that it's being maintained to the same standards.
Everything that we do, we are a fireworks company, whether I sell fireworks or we shoot fireworks. We, just like what's happening here, we are looked at so carefully at everything that we do. We operate extremely professionally.
That's
I've
exactly
been in this
what we wanna
business
know.
for 22 years. 22 years. And I wouldn't be in this business for 22 years if I haven't operated professionally.
No, that's wonderful. That's important. That's
Yeah,
important.
That is.
Yeah. And that's why when you're asked certain questions, you should have pride and answer it with
I
confidence
have-
and not
I-
be passive
I have-
aggressive. You understand?
Well, I am
Because you're
talking
doing
to
it
you in
right. You're
confidence
doing it
and-
right.
And
So
so I'm telling you that
Wonderful.
when you ask me a question such as you just did, that you have your events people coming here and I'm an outsider, to me.
You don't
I
work
take
for the
that
city.
out- I take that like an insult.
Well, I'm sorry, ma'am. That wasn't meant to be an insult. It's how you took it. You don't work for the city of
It
Hialeah.
doesn't matter. I operate professionally no matter where I
I'm
operate.
sorry, before this, I
Wonderful. Okay, thank
apologize,
you.
ma'am. Before this gets, let's try to stick to the questions pertinent to our
Okay.
concerns here. Thank you, ma'am.
I will feel comfortable.
But we need to ask questions, ma'am. Please be patient with us. Go on, Madam
I will feel
VP.
comfortable once it goes through fire. So if we want to approve it, that's fine. But once it goes
Okay.
through the permitting through fire.
I understand, yeah.
And,
yeah.
and let me
Anyone
add
else?
to that,
Yeah.
we are well aware that we have to get permits for fire, but
Yes.
you put the horse before the cart.
We got it. We got it.
Okay.
Anyone? I understand, Miss Taimi. Yes, ma'am, you are recognized.
My question is, this event that you're doing a demo, could you explain a little bit about what exactly you're doing with the demo? You have 100 people there on the field, and by the way, when we shoot from the field that you're shooting for, that you have the measurements and everything perfect, we don't have 100 people standing there in that field at the same time. So that's what the concern is, I think, of all of us here, because our viewers are inside Mylander Stadium, and we shoot from the field and from the parking lot from Immaculate. So that's where our concerns come in. We don't mean any insults whatsoever, but just concerns of 100 people on the field at the same time as they're shooting fireworks, when usually they're a block and a half away almost. So that's where our concerns are. But what is the reason that where the truck's going to be on the field, where the people are going to be enjoying, what is it? Why can't I say that word?
Enjoying the show. like I-
Enjoying the show, thank you.
Yeah.
Suelta el cloche. To make sure where the people are going to be standing,
gonna
where
be
they're going to be
safe.
eating, and how far away are they going to be
Yes.
from where the fireworks are being shot. What is the demo that you're doing? So you have a company, you have hired a professional company to shoot the fireworks. But
Correct.
you're selling fireworks as well, correct?
Not at this event, no.
No, understood. But that's your business, selling fireworks.
I'm a direct importer, I'm a wholesaler, a distributor, and a retailer. That's correct.
So those are the ones, give me a minute if you don't mind. Is that okay? Those are the questions that I'm having. The ones that are being shot, the ones that the professionals are shooting are the same ones you're going to be selling, correct?
Those are the same ones that I import from China. Those are the same ones that I distribute in wholesale and sell. Correct.
Right, so that is correct.
Mhm.
So you're shooting them so people could see them to purchase. So the 100 people that are there are purchasers or your customers?
Distributors?
We are demonstrating this new product that's coming in from China.
And where else have they been shot at locally? The new products from China?
Locally meaning which? The
Miami-Dade
United
County?
States?
Miami-Dade County?
No, I don't think that they've been shot anywhere in Miami-Dade County.
Okay, so my concern, having that answer, is other than the 100 people that are going to be there, other than the food trucks that are going to be there, is that we're going to do a demo of something that hasn't been done here. So let me ask George, if you don't mind, because you're the one that handles the 4th of July. When we do our event on 4th of July, have the company, the new fireworks that they shoot, are they brand new or have they been shot before? Are we always looking for something new?
These are not prototypes.
We get
Okay.
a video.
However, I think the confusion that's happening is
Consumer
consumer grade. So I think the difference that we're getting confused is,
Mhm.
he is a distributor, sells fireworks. She's showing off her product.
New products.
Correct, whatever product she's demonstrating. However, she's a vendor. She needs someone to like that firework, consumer grade. She needs someone to actually buy it. Who's the person she's hiring? That person is licensed and insured.
Correct.
However, she's getting a permit for the
Them.
event.
Right.
And it's consumer grade product, not display, which is a bit different from 4th of July.
Okay.
4th of July, our fireworks require per every inch of cell that we shoot into the air about 100 feet. This shoot up to a 5-inch shot, meaning we're all the way in the state.
Right.
We shouldn't go above doing 3-inch shots.
I'm not, but we have 3-inch. Yeah,
So is-
racks are 3.
So where are the guests
where
going to
should they
be?
be then?
Where,
The gas on the map
I'm
is
sorry.
on the display that she's giving us. Do you guys remember the roadway that goes to the back of the stadium? Where VIP goes into?
Right.
The park side, not the church side. Our guests are gonna stay in that little quadrant of grass between the stadium and the park. Right before the general field. There used to be a giant fence there.
Right, right.
Over there.
Aren't there high trees there?
That's where she's gonna
But they're
go.
not those big trees,
I think,
big
Where the
pine?
big trees used to be.
okay.
Okay.
They're not there anymore.
Got it.
There's a hedge. to the
Yeah.
right.
So they're going to be on the other side, but there's no fence there anymore? So if somebody, for instance, if somebody just runs in, they could run into the field? Okay,
Gonna have to follow the requirements.
correct.
Has to secure in the area where,
And what are those?
I don't know the police department yet. I know that that's being talked about.
That's part of the,
and the fire.
Okay,
all right.
These are adults, they're not going to be running to the field. For what reason?
My understanding based on.
until one does.
There's one.
Usually, yeah, you always have one.
So,
It only takes one.
You run into the bright line all the time.
That was vetted by the clerk's office, was that this event is demonstrating to the people that buy from further from.
So her customers, which is what I started asking. So her customers and her clients, she's showing off what it is. And where's your business at, if you don't mind me asking?
8600 Northwest South River Drive, Medley, Florida, 33166 is my showroom.
Okay,
My question is, I'll say here, based on what's happening at the event, when you're advertising, it says cash and carry,
George,
and you're not
George,
selling on site.
No,
microphone,
we're not
microphone.
selling on site.
Microphone.
And I don't think my advertisement says cash and carry.
Does right there.
that's,
Cash and carry business on your agenda.
is that her, but that's another event, right?
No,
No, that's the same one.
no.
This is May 28th?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't even have
There's-
our
we're
address,
offering
okay.
discounts.
But are they going to be able to take merchandise
No,
with them?
there's no merchandise there.
So
We-
they'll make a deal and they'll pick it up later or something, or get
Whoever
shipped?
comes to our event that weekend, yes. There'll be people coming in from all over the world, actually.
so have we ever done an event like that?
I have.
No, the city. Has the city ever done,
My understanding is I've been here a week and a half.
so
No,
through-
we've not done it at this park. We've
no,
done
no,
it at another park.
anybody doing fireworks other than the city one, 4th of July, legally with license and permits? I don't think we've ever done. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Chair, my turn.
That's
Thank
it. Well, no, I might not have finished. I waited for Monica to finish. Go ahead.
So,
Not yet. Are you sure you're,
I'm just-
go on, sir, you're ready.
So, to be honest with you, man, we were going to deny this the other days. So we actually had you a
We
chance to come
decided
over here and
that.
explain to us what's going on. And as a protector of the city, man, we're asking the question because that's our field.
Okay.
And we know everything has a calculated risk. When we do July the 4th, we already calculated the risk. Right now, we don't see anything. We just don't know what we're doing right now as far as us protecting the city. So that's why these questions were, and that's why we tabled the item. So please, so we're sorry that you had to come over here, man, but that's the main reason why we asked you to come. So.
Are you, George, are you okay with this? If she goes, they go through all the hoops, they're going to get the permitting, the fire department's got to be on board, the police department's got to review the event, and they'll give their requirements of security. The logistics of it, are you okay with it?
Logistically, right now, with the updated plans and everything, I would say yes. As
Okay.
long as all the proper procedures. Word of advice, next time an event is approached, please give us all the information that we received throughout.
Okay.
Yeah,
So do we have the insurance already on this?
not yet.
No, we don't. She didn't agree to purchase the insurance prior to getting an approval from the city. So risk
Okay.
management has provided her with all the requirements for each insurance she needs and the amount of coverage, and she's agreed to comply.
That's fair. If
Can-
she agrees to comply,
Can
if
I
it goes through, then
respond to
that's.
that? I have my insurance. I
Yeah, but
prov-
we
I
need the
provided that.
we need the indemnification for the city,
Mhm.
for the insurance.
Yes, I have my insurance for me, Fireworks Lady and Company. We provided that because we already have that. The only insurance that, additional insurance is the food for the vendors, the food
No, we need a
truck.
liability insurance for the city as well, I'm sure. I can't imagine that we're not doing something with liability, because that's what we would ask
Correct.
at Hialeah Park, so I'm
I
sure.
provided that already. If you don't have it, we'll be more than happy to provide you another copy. We already have that. We emailed that. And
But that's your insurance, correct?
yes, to the city.
Were
of-
we indemnified in that insurance?
Yes, you were.
Okay, so we have that insurance?
No.
Frankie, you
Yeah,
want
in
to
the backup.
clarify on the insurance? Because we only have one certificate from her.
We have a certificate of liability, but from Accord, that's her personal insurance.
Franklin, name and address for the record, and speaking to the mic, please. Thank you.
Is it
Just-
there?
Ms. Timey, just give him a little bit of space. Thank you.
Good evening, Franklin Duarte, Risk Administrator. Ms. Barbara's lady, she did provide her own COI, but she's missing all the vendors. She's missing the food vendor, she's missing the liquor vendor. She's also missing the firework company vendor she's hiring to throw the fireworks and do a demo. So pretty much she's missing all the vendors, and with that, in the outside, we cannot clear. She has her own general liability, but that's not sufficient to cover for the demo.
So her general liability is $1 million?
Yeah,
5 million?
right, but that still doesn't cover for the other vendors.
Correct,
that
for the
must cover,
vendors.
Yes.
And we're
So
indemnified.
She's aware of that because Ms. Fajo from City Clerk provided a checklist, a 5 checklist that she, with the requirements that she needed. And that was provided, I believe, in April 29.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry, Mr. Cruz. Did you say that the shooter, the professional company that's coming to shoot the fireworks has not brought their insurance?
correct, they have not. We mentioned it to her. She says they were out of town, and then they have it. I understand, ma'am, I'm just answering the question. So yes, they have not provided the certificate of insurance with the compliance that we asked.
Correct. And Mr. Cruz, typically, we have to have that paperwork prior to us approving it, correct?
Mainly for city clerk.
Yeah, that is correct, ma'am.
That is correct. All right. I don't know, there's a lot of.
So in speaking to the fireworks company, they would have to pay to pull the insurance just to show you that they can get insured without knowing if you're going to approve this event. So again, putting the cart before the horse
We,
here.
we understand, but of course, you
Okay,
understand
so-
that if we approve, you'll comply with all that. And you've been agreed.
Absolutely.
Okay,
I
we
mean,
get it.
You know,
We
these
get
are
it, yeah.
professional
Yeah, we get it.
people, and we have no reason not to comply.
Okay.
And if it's a
Okay.
professional company, they have to have their insurance.
Absolutely.
So if we approve it, it's with those conditions, that paperwork is brought forward and that she's cleared by our police department and our fire department. I would feel comfortable moving forward with those conditions.
Is that a motion?
It's a motion, sir.
Motion from Councilwoman Perez. Do I have a second? Wow. Second? Oh, second from Councilwoman Garcia Rovez. Please call the roll.
Mr. Rodriguez? Yes. Mr. Zogby?
Yes.
Mr. Calvo?
Yes.
Ms. Casal Munoz?
No.
Ms. Garcia Rovez?
Yes.
Ms. Perez?
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
Thank you,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Timey. Good luck.
Can we address the retail holiday sales? Is that today
Not on,
as
this is
well?
not on the item here.
When does that get addressed?
I'm not sure. Is there another?
Yeah, ma'am, I sent you an email a couple days ago advising that we haven't received the insurance that was required of you from risk management, so we couldn't place the item on the agenda.
And I responded to you with regards to that, with the information from the insurance agent.
That they haven't been able to obtain the insurance necessary, correct?
Right, they,
So that's why the item's not on the agenda.
well, in regards to that, you said here that if, I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared to mention this, so give me a second, but the new ordinance that you have here in the city that changed the criteria for the insurance in February, I was just advised of this just a couple of weeks ago. So this, the way your ordinance was written says that if it causes a financial burden or whatever the statute or ordinance says, and it is going to cause a financial burden, we cannot obtain that type of insurance that now that you made a change for product, that you're requiring us to get product coverage. We have $5 million liability insurance, but we don't have product insurance. And we've operated without that in your city prior. So that's where the holdup, where you're causing the holdup to be. So I really think that that really does need to be addressed in here. Because it's not that I'm not providing it, I can't provide it because of your changes that you've made, and your council needs to address that.
Madam Taimi, give us a second. Now, I'm sure I'm as confused as everybody
Yeah,
else.
me
Give
too.
a second for,
Mhm.
Madam Clerk, is there anything you want to add to that, please? Can you?
No, sir, I'm just giving her the requirements that risk management is giving me. I mean, I'm not in the business of insurance. If they're saying she needs products liability, then that's.
Without that, this is not going to happen, this
Of
event,
course
right?
not.
It's
Of
not
course
going to
not.
happen.
That
And
is
and we
correct.
Those are the
understand what you're
conditions.
saying. Eh?
Correct.
Not this one.
Okay.
This is specifically for the event. You would need it. No?
Well, she's talking about a different event. She's
Oh.
talking about a tent
So-
sale at Westland Mall, which
That's for what
hasn't,
date?
That's different.
We have time. What date is
it
that?
commences in June.
Well, we don't have it in front of us now.
That's
Good
correct.
evening.
It's a different item.
Franklin.
Go ahead,
Duarte,
Franklin.
Risk Administrator. The event she's referring to is a different event
Hmm.
and it's selling fireworks. It's
Hmm.
completely a different insurance requirement.
Okay.
And her general liability is excluding products. And the issue and the reason why we're asking for is, God forbid, someone buys a fireworks and explode in front of her face, they are going to come after the city and they are going to come after her. She has a $5 million general liability, but it's excluding the product. So that is an issue for the city. And besides that, madam, we mentioned to yourself that your insurance is about to expire before the event happening. And you giving us, telling us that you cannot extend your insurance. We cannot approve you. Yes, you do, because you're putting in an email.
Ma'am, we're going to have to ask you for that event to comply with whatever risk management is asking
Yeah.
as diligently as possible, see if we have
Yeah, no
time to
problem.
place it.
We can provide
Please.
the insurance. We didn't say that we can't.
Please,
It's just the
thank
product.
But if that's being required,
that's what
please
the
discuss
requirement is.
that with them during the week, you know, if you need
Okay,
any
I can do that if I
clarification.
can get a return phone call from risk management.
Okay. Okay, we'll do
Thank
that.
you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms.
Through the
you.
chair?
Good luck. Yes, yes,
I
ma'am.
have one question. The flyer that we saw that says cash and carry,
Yeah,
And needs to be
that
edited.
that George was showing is for the event on the 28th, which she said that she wasn't going to be selling, she was just going to be getting deposits for. I thought it was going to, a discount. You're right. I'm sorry, a discount, that you were going to give discounts if they, at the event, correct? You did say you were going to give
The
discounts on the
distributors
28th.
could purchase at the event, is what she said, that they could purchase at whatever discounted price, but they weren't going to carry the fireworks
Right.
out. So that cash and
Didn't say anything about purchasing anything at the event.
You said discount.
is that, George?
What do you
I'm
mean?
sorry,
No,
that
I-
flyer
Can
is,
we do a rewind on the tape?
Well, regardless, if you didn't say discount, then you didn't say discount. But either way, it says cash and carry on the flyer.
No, it says cash and carry discounts.
Okay, so can we?
Oh, that's a name. Cash and carry discount is the name of the,
On the advertisement, sorry, George Hernandez, Assistant Director of Communications Special Events. On the flyer, it says,
Cash and-
extra surprise product discounts will be offered at the shoot. If you drive down, great cash and carry discounts will be available,
Right.
turning a point of sale at the event.
It says turning a point of
It
sale.
is it's a point of sale at the event.
Okay.
That's his interpretation.
Right, right. Which it could lead to an interpretation by many, not just George. So you're not going to be selling products. Would that be able to be edited from the flyer? Perfect. Thank you so much. That interpretation that we just agreed on? No, it's not to make me happy. It's so that it's clear so people understand that they're not going to be walking out with fireworks.
Right, but we're
We
not in
don't
the
want that
industry.
there because
So we understand. We don't know that.
So the people who are coming there know that they're not going to be walking off of that demo. sheet.
But you understand if someone,
And that's who I'm talking to.
but if someone walks out with the firework to their car, then we can't argue the fact because it was on there that said cash and carry. So we just would prefer not to have that
And
there.
we also know that at these events, there's a fire marshal going to be there.
What fire marshal is going to
But
be there?
he's not to be enforcing sales. He's not, he's just to
What,
enforce
what fire
safety.
marshal is going to be there?
She means fire watch,
We know
probably.
a fire marshal will be there, so we're not going to be doing anything that is illegal. We know what the laws are.
What fire marshal is going to be at the city of Hialeah property? What fire marshal is going to be there?
It's a requirement, ma'am.
What fire marshal
I
has
don't know,
agreed?
whoever they assign.
I think she probably means a
Oh,
fire
a fire
watch,
watch.
chief.
Okay,
Yeah.
Probably.
okay.
Okay.
So it's not a
That's-
fire
Yeah,
marshal. Okay.
That's the process that we have to go through.
Oh, Lord.
We know the rule, you know.
Yeah, I
this
know
is
you
not
know,
our
I
first
understand you know
rodeo.
the rules, but we don't, and it's not it's not in your paperwork that you're going to have a fire marshal. And if you are, and it's not from the city of Hialeah, where is it from? That's why I was asking the
But
question.
we know all these things.
I know, but we don't, and we're the ones that just gave you the permission to do things that we don't know we can or cannot do.
We appreciate that.
Okay.
Can I interject
Sir, yes,
for a
Mayor.
second?
Mhm.
Okay, because I'm about drained out on this topic already.
And it hasn't even come yet.
Okay, and this is for our part, our administrative part, okay? You know, I think we should take some of these issues. I don't really like food fights here, and I don't like surprises. I don't like the council being caught by surprise, because a lot of these questions, I think, could be answered at an administrative level when somebody comes and makes the application. So from our end, if we could just take note of some of these issues so that this could be taken care of. We've heard some of the council members in their comments. This should be baked into any kind of application, so we could avoid, we're not going to get back the last 40 minutes of our lives. It's gone, okay? And I want to avoid that in the future, okay? So that she doesn't have to stand here
Thank
bothered by
you.
the questions that we're asking her. And at the same time, the council knows beforehand, or at least has the answers, because the questions that are being asked out of genuineness. There's not a hidden agenda here. There are legitimate questions. So if we could, if we could make sure that this stuff is handled beforehand, and at least baked into the application process, I think we could avoid everything we just witnessed, okay? Agreed. So whoever that is from my end, my guys, my folks, please.
Thank you, Mayor.
Agreed. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. All right, we'll move on to consent item D. Please read into the record, madam.
Request permission to issue a purchase order to Stealth Partner Group LLC, vendor providing the city's broker with the lowest quote of all insurance companies contacted for stop-loss insurance with the city's self-funded PPO plan in the amount of $576,553.90. And further request permission to ratify payments made for the month of January 2022 in the amount of $35,863.98, and February in the amount of $37,582.12, for a new total cumulative expense amount not to exceed $650,000. The funding for this expenditure is to be withdrawn from the contractual services account number 520-8500-519233. On May 11th, 2021, the City Council approved Resolution Number 2021-046, authorizing the city to negotiate the terms and conditions of an agreement with Pine Tree Capital LLC for the negotiation and placement of the Open Access Plus Health Insurance Plan, self-funded PPO health insurance plans, gap health insurance coverage, stop-loss health insurance coverage pharmacy benefits for the city's self-funded PPO health insurance plans and the Medicare Advantage PPO health insurance plan for calendar years 2022 and 2023.
Okay.
Through the chair.
Madam, you have the floor.
What was the amendment from before, that it was amended? It was the whole thing that was amended? Because,
You mean what's the change?
yeah, it says consent item D has been amended.
Ma'am, if I may, the
Oh.
amendment was that
The entire?
he brought to my attention that it wasn't waiving competitive bidding.
Sorry.
Because, so I just added the last sentence explaining why we're not waiving competitive bidding.
Okay,
Yes,
okay, that was it.
Yes.
That was it. Can we like underline next time?
That's fine. I
Yeah,
will do.
thank you. Motion to approve?
Motion from Councilwoman Casal Munoz,
I
second
second.
from Vice President Perez. Call the roll.
Mr. Zogby,
Yes.
Mr. Calvo,
Yes.
Ms. Casal Munoz.
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes.
Yes.
Ms. Perez.
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
Thank you. Moving on to administrative items. Madam Clerk, can you please, I've been asked to move forward 10C, read 10C into the record so we can vote on it.
Second reading and public hearing of proposed ordinance supplementing resolution number 2021-124, adopted on September 14, 2021, authorizing the exchange of Series 2022 note for the Series 2021 note in the amount of $28,400,000, providing for the rights, securities, and remedies for the owner of the Series 2022 note, authorizing certain city officials to execute such Series 2022 note and all necessary documents on behalf of the city, and to take all actions required in connection with the delivery of such Series 2022 note, making certain covenants and agreements in connection therewith, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. 10C is on second reading, open for public discussion or public hearing, having none. Is there anyone, no comment? We have a motion
Second.
from Councilman Rodriguez. We have a second. Was that you, Councilman Calvo?
Yes.
The one with
Sir,
the
the
interest
only
rate?
man voice coming from there. Thank you.
Second.
So we have a second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Zogby,
Well, I don't think, yes.
Mr. Calvo,
Yes.
Way over there.
Ms. Casal Munoz,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes,
Yes.
Ms. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez.
No, it's the next
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please read 10D into the record.
Second reading and public hearing of proposed ordinance supplementing ordinance number 10-40 enacted by the City Council on June 22nd, 2010, authorizing not to exceed $41,500,000 utility system revenue refunding bonds, Series 2022, providing for the issuance of such Series 2022 bonds to refinance certain debt obligations, delegating the award of the sale of the Series 2022 bonds to the mayor, appointing a registrar and paying agent, approving the form of the escrow deposit agreement, approving the execution and delivery of a bond purchase agreement, approving the execution and delivery of a disclosure dissemination agent agreement, appointing a dissemination agent, amending ordinance number 10-40 to change the definition of finance director, providing certain covenants and agreements in connection with the issuance thereof, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. 10D, this ordinance is on second hearing, open for public discussion. Having none, then it's open for the will of the council on 10D.
Motion.
Motion from Councilman Calvo,
Second.
second from Councilwoman Garcia Robes. Please call the roll.
Mr. Calvo,
Yes.
Ms. Casal Munoz,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes,
Yes.
Ms. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Zogby.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
Okay, we'll go back to item 10A of administrative items. Please read into the record, Madam Clerk.
Second reading and public hearing of proposed ordinance amending ordinance number 2022-003, adopted on February 8th, 2022 of the Hialeah Code of Ordinances, Chapter 18, entitled Businesses, Article 2, Special Events, amending Section 18-29, Permit, Hialeah Park District, by allowing the Factory Town Entertainment Sub-District to cite special events of 60 days or less, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, providing for inclusion in the code, and providing for an effective date.
The ordinance on 10A is on second reading, open for public discussion. Having none,
Motion.
will of the council, motion from
Second.
Councilwoman Casal Munoz.
Second.
Oh, I didn't see her. And second from Council Vice President Perez. Call the roll.
Ms. Casal Munoz,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes,
Yes.
Ms. Perez. She stepped away. Mr. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Zogby,
Yes.
Mr. Calvo.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
Thank you. Please read item 10B into the record.
Second reading and public hearing of proposed ordinance amending ordinance number 2013-83, adopted on November 26, 2013, amending Chapter 46 entitled Historical Preservation of the Code of Ordinances, and in particular revising Hialeah Code Section 46-40 entitled Powers and Duties to allow the naming of city buildings, facilities, parks, rights of way, and other city properties after elected federal officials or relatives of elected federal officials during the lifetime of the elected federal officials, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, providing for inclusion in the code, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you.
Motion.
It's open for public discussion. Having none, we have a motion for 10B from Councilwoman Casals Munoz.
Second.
Second from Councilman Rodriguez. Please call the roll.
Ms. Garcia Robes,
Yes.
Ms. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Zogby,
Yes.
Mr. Calvo,
Yes.
Ms. Casal Munoz.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
You want to ask for Ms. Perez's vote on 10A?
Yes, ma'am. Please, your vote on item 10A.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, can you read 10E into the record?
First reading of proposed ordinance amending ordinance number 2022-015, adopted on March 8th, 2022, amending the Hialeah Code of Ordinances, Chapter 18, entitled Businesses, Article 6, Peddlers, Solicitors, Itinerant Vendors, Division 2, Peddlers, Itinerant Vendors, Section 18-311, Retail Sales from Tents, allowing retail tent sales other than the sale of Christmas trees and fireworks as a special event, allowing additional time for retail sales as a special event, allowing for a farmer's market, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, providing for inclusion in the code, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. 10E is on first reading, not open to public discussion, but certainly to the will of the council.
Through the chair.
Ma'am, you are recognized.
The one question that I have are tents that we're gonna put when it's Christmas or when it's 4th of July, they're limited. Is this going to be limited? Because sometimes they put a tent in front of a business that's paying rent and taxes on the land. How long are we gonna allow the tents to be there for other than Christmas and fireworks?
Madam Attorney, thank you. Yeah.
Regulated under a separate provision of the code, and they can be sold from tents for a period of 2 weeks on the.
Right.
The measure that you're talking about would be considered as competitive, but in any case, you have a limitation. And the limitation is a maximum of.
Yeah, it says, it does. It says 3 days from
3 days.
Okay,
consecutive, three consecutive days.
perfect.
You have a 12-hour window. You can, well, it's not consecutive anymore. You could have them 3 single days, like individual days, or you could have 3 consecutive days.
Okay,
It used to be 3 consecutive days only,
You're right.
Like
Yeah.
on the weekend, but now you can schedule your days at your.
but I'm sorry.
No, go
Through
ahead,
the
go
chair.
ahead. I'm
Yes, ma'am.
listening to you.
But there's one that says for farmers markets, 90 days. So that it's different depending, okay.
A farmer's market is an activity that's defined.
Okay, so the farmer's market, obviously, it's not gonna be going for 90 days, so it's within a 90-day period, is that what it is? I lost it now.
That's already existing. We had amended that previously precisely. The
Okay.
farmer's market is a period of 90 days within a 12-month window,
Okay.
right? So you can schedule maximum of 90 days in a year.
Hmm,
This time, got it.
okay.
Okay. Thank you for that, Madam Attorney.
All right, thank you. Motion.
We have a motion from Councilman Calvo. We have a
Second.
second from Councilwoman Casal Munoz.
Sorry, second.
Call the roll, please.
Ms. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Zogby?
Yes.
Mr. Calvo?
Yes.
Ms. Casal Munoz?
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robles?
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved. Second reading and public hearing is scheduled for May 24th, 2022.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please read 10F into the record.
First reading of proposed ordinance amending Chapter 98 entitled Zoning, Article 5, Zoning District Regulations, Division 16, entitled C2, Liberal Retail Commercial District, Section 98-1112, entitled Uses Prohibited, removing open-air markets as prohibited activity, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, providing for inclusion in the code, and providing for an effective date.
10F is on first reading, not open for public discussion, but certainly subject to the will of the council.
Motion.
Motion from Councilwoman Casals Munoz.
Second.
Second from Councilman Rodriguez. Please call the roll.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Zogby?
Yes.
Mr. Calvo?
Yes.
Ms. Casal Munoz?
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robles?
Yes.
Ms. Perez?
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved. Second reading and public hearing is scheduled for May 24th, 2022.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please read 10G into the record.
Pursuant to Section 2.01 of the city's charter, Mayor Esteban Bobo Jr. appoints Ruth Ruby, subject to civil service rules and regulations, to the position of Executive Director of Finance Management.
Mayor?
As many of you may know, and I think I've spoken to most of you, that we have been working on what I would call a reconstitution of our financial operation here in the city. Ruth joins us. I think many of you have already met her, and if you haven't, I would encourage you, especially now that we're going into budget, to go by and see her and talk to her. So it's with great pleasure that we all obviously name her to the position of Executive Director of Finance Management. And she'll be overseeing most, if not all, of the financial operations for the city, whether it's spending, whether it's money coming in, money going out, and making sure all the departments are aligned in a particular order so that we do not have chaos. So with that, I'd like to encourage your support, and I'm sure you've met her, but Ruth, if you could stand up another time and wave.
Motion.
Motion from Councilwoman
Second.
Casal Munoz, second from Vice President Perez. Call the roll.
Mr. Zogby?
Yes.
Mr. Calvo?
Yes.
Ms. Casal Munoz?
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robles?
Yes.
Ms. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
It doesn't look like we have any board appointments unless we're missing something, correct?
That is
No
correct,
board
sir.
appointments. Item 11. Item 12, unfinished business. Anyone on the dais, unfinished business? Having none. 13, new business. Having none, we're going to move on to, we
Land
have
use.
a land use item before PZ.
Zoning.
Is that in the right order?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So before we go to PZ, we have LU1.
First reading of proposed ordinance
Mayor,
amending the future land
Mayor,
use
thank you.
map from commercial to transit-oriented development district, property located at 1067 East 25th Street, Hialeah, Florida, zoned C2, Liberal Retail Commercial District, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
LU1 is on first reading, not open for public discussion, but certainly open for any comments from Ms. Harrow or the will of the council.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second from Councilman Calvo. Please call the roll.
Mr. Zogby?
Yes?
Mr. Calvo?
Yes.
Ms. Casal Munoz?
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes?
Yes.
Ms. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved. Second reading and public hearing is scheduled for May 24th, 2022.
Thank you.
You, just
Through
a-
the president.
Yes, ma'am?
This item has a companion
Yes.
PZ item. It's PZ 6. If okay with the council, I'd ask if it can be read together. I think you have to adjourn this meeting.
I have to swear you in. Do we have to swear her in if we're going to PZ? Let's do the swearing in. Should we formally enter our P and Z before we take PZ 6 from Ms. Harrow?
Will all
Who's
those
been so
persons who will be
patient.
testifying on an item, please stand and raise your right hand?
Las personas que quisieran prestar sus opiniones delante de esta junta, por favor, pónganse de pie y alcen la mano derecha.
Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God. If so, say I do.
Usted jura o afirma que el testimonio que va a dar será la verdad, toda la verdad y únicamente la verdad y que Dios sea su testigo. Por favor, diga que sí si la respuesta es afirmativa.
Let the record reflect that all have responded in the affirmative.
En el archivo público constará que todos han respondido afirmativamente.
All right.
missed her last-
Let's hope I don't get killed. Are we done with the swearing? That was good.
impressive.
Let's hope I don't get killed by other people waiting here, and this is not an all-nighter. PZ 6, read into the record, Madam Clerk.
First reading of proposed ordinance rezoning property from C2 Liberal Retail Commercial District to TOD Transit Oriented Development District and granting a variance permit to allow 10 stories where 8 stories is the maximum allowed, contra to Hialeah Code of Ordinances, Sections 98-1544 subsection C2 and 98-1544 subsection D. Property located at 1067 East 25th Street, Hialeah, Florida, Zone C2, Liberal Retail Commercial District. Repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. PZ 6 is on first reading, not open for public discussion, but certainly if we need something from our
Motion.
presenter. But we
Second.
have a motion from Councilman Calvo. We have a second from Ms. Casal Munoz. Please call the roll.
Mr. Calvo,
Yes.
Ms. Casal Munoz,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes,
Yes.
Ms. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Zogby.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved. Second reading and public hearing is scheduled for May 24th, 2022.
Have a great night, Ms.
Good
Harrow.
evening.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Let's skip the order one more time and when you can, Madam Clerk, let's read PZ 6 into the, I'm sorry, 5 into the record, and let's vote on that.
First reading of proposed ordinance rezoning from R1 One Family District to GUD Governmental Use District of property located at 815 West 75th Street and granting a special use permit pursuant to Hialeah Code of Ordinances, Section 98-1630.8, to allow the expansion of the neighborhood business district overlay, granting a variance permit to allow residential use on the ground floor where residential use is allowed above ground floor level only, allow 1,049 parking spaces where 1,487 parking spaces are required, and allow 19.8% pervious area where 30% is a minimum required. Contra to Hialeah Code of Ordinances, Sections 98-1630.2 and 98-2189, subsections 16A and B. Property located at 7605 West 10th Avenue and 815 West 75th Street, Hialeah, Florida, zones GUD, Governmental Use District, and R1, One Family District. Repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. This is related to a very ambitious, much needed, and much welcome project by our Hialeah Housing. That being said, PZ 5 is on first reading, not open for public discussion, but certainly from yourself, sir, if needed. Does
Motion.
anyone from the dais motion? Did you say
Second.
motion? Motion from Councilman Rodriguez, second from Councilwoman Garcia Rovez, and call the roll.
Ms. Casal Munoz?
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes?
Yes.
Ms. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Zogby?
Yes.
Mr. Calvo? Motion carries. The item is approved. Second reading and public hearing is scheduled for May 24th, 2022.
Good night, Hugo. Thank you, sir.
Good night.
Okay, let's go back to PZ 2. Do some catch up.
First reading,
Sorry? I'm sorry?
PZ one?
One is deferred.
correct.
It's deferred.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's read
Sorry.
into the record. No, but that's good. We read into the record that it's deferred. So let's read PZ2 into the record.
First reading of proposed ordinance granting a conditional use permit pursuant to Hialeah Code of Ordinances, Section 98-181, to allow a 10,840 square foot expansion of the existing 36,950 square foot behavioral health hospital and increase the number of beds from 72 beds to 92 beds, and allow 73 parking spaces where 115 parking spaces are required, contrary to Hialeah Code of Ordinances, Section 98-2189, subsection 12. Property located at 4225 West 20th Avenue, Hialeah, zoned C2, Liberal Commercial District, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. PZ2 is on first reading, not open for public discussion, but I will acknowledge that there's at least one person who represents the neighborhood next door to this proposed project that is here, and she'll be here in 2 weeks.
Through the chair.
We're not going to forget about it. But this is your show tonight.
Through the chair.
Javi, go ahead, sir. You have it.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir. You have it.
Hello?
Sir,
No.
Brian is saying through the chair.
I'm thinking it's your voice. You could pass for Brian. I'm sorry, sir, you have something to announce.
Yeah, pursuant to
Councilman
the
Calvo.
Miami-Dade County Ethics, their opinion that I'm have some conflict with this matter because I live adjacent to the property, I'm going to be recusing myself from this vote.
Duly noted, sir. Now, stop confusing me. Would you like the floor now, Javi? I would love it, sir, please.
And
Go
good
ahead,
evening,
sir.
Mr. President and council members. My name is Javi Vasquez with law offices at 1450 Brickell Avenue. I'm here tonight on behalf of Southern Winds Hospital. And we have a few folks here with us. Mr. Alex Menendez is here. Ms. Anna Bobo is here, who is the CEO of the hospital. Mr. Seth Francis, our civil engineer, is online by Zoom. Mr. Orlando Comas is online by Zoom. And each of those are going to have a brief presentation that's very important as it relates to the conversations we've been having with Nancy Font and the neighbors. But first of all, let me just introduce the item. Southern Winds Hospital has been in operation since 1988. Pursuant to the rules of 1998, the expansion of a legal nonconforming use is required, as well as a conditional use permit for the proposed expansion, which allows us to go from 37,000 square feet to 48,000 square feet, just below 11,000 square feet. And it will allow us to go from 72 beds to 92 beds. We also have a variance because of some of the area being taken up by the expansion that takes up some of our existing parking that requires us to have a parking variance, which is also before you tonight. I mentioned Nancy Font. When we went to Planning and Zoning Board, we came to know that the Nancy, who represents a group of neighbors to the east of our property on the other side of the wall, did express some concerns. The majority of the concerns had to do with drainage and how water pools when it rains, as well as landscaping. There were issues having to do with treating the windows, but those were issues that they wanted, we wanted. Treating the windows is a non-issue. But what I do want to take advantage of tonight, and this is not going to be long. On April 11th, we met with Nancy and the neighbors, and we heard them out. And then once again on May 4th, we met with them by Zoom, and we gave her a very detailed explanation of what we propose to do for purposes of drainage and for purposes of landscaping. By the time our presentation is over tonight, I will ask this council, in keeping with the planner's recommendation and in keeping with the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Board, I will ask this council that any motion for approval that's considered tonight be made, including conditions that will incorporate the two things that you're going to hear about tonight. One has to do with landscaping and one has to do with drainage. And that is our commitment to the neighbors to do what concerned them and to take care of their concerns. So without further ado, I'd like to first introduce Mr. Seth Francis, who is our civil engineer. Seth, can you hear me?
Alicia, is he
Yes, I can hear you.
on?
Okay, Seth, if you'd be kind enough, and I'd like to ask Bridget to put up I'm going to ask you to put up the different sheets. I'll tell you which one we're going to use now. Nope. It was a single page. I think the one you have up now.
Sheet 6, C 6.0.
Yeah, and if you could zoom in on that sheet a little bit, Bridget, that'd be great. Zoom in, zoom in. And zoom in towards the right part of the page as much as you can, all the way in there. A little bit further to the right now. Right. Go to the wall if you can, to the right. There you go. And down just a bit. And that'll take care of, okay. Mm. Further down there, you got it. Right there, there. All right, Seth, if you'd be kind enough and explain to, we lost our,
Bridget, are we going to get that? Okay, sorry.
do you all have it?
Sorry, Chair. Oh.
There you go. Do you all have it on your screen?
Coming,
Yep.
there it is.
Okay, Seth, if you'd give them an explanation of conditions as they are today and what we propose to improve.
Absolutely. So, a site investigation was performed to identify the drainage problems present on the site that was brought up by the representative of the neighbors to the east. The conclusions of that investigation identified 3 drainage problems. The first drainage problem was there is an existing downspout on the northeast side and corner of the existing building. That downspout was splashed to grade. And what that means is water comes through the downspout, lands on the paved area beneath it, and then surface flows away. The second item that was identified with the investigation is that in the corner of the wall near the southeast corner of the existing building, there was a low spot that was causing water to pond. The third item that was identified in the investigation was that the grades towards the southeast section of this site, the grades allowed the drainage to go towards the wall that borders the property line and was causing water to run along and pond along that wall. In order to mitigate these 3 items, we have proposed a plan that will connect to that downspout that is splashed to grade and pop that downspout underground to the south and to the west and tie into an existing storm inlet that is south of the proposed addition. The second mitigation that we are proposing to make is to provide an inlet at the low spot in the corner of the walls to to get rid of the ponding that's occurring in that location. That inlet will tie into the pipe that we are running from the downspout to the existing inlet south of the proposed addition. The third mitigation effort that we're proposing is we are actually going to pick up the grade along the property line to promote drainage away from the wall and away from the property line to the south and to the west to the existing storm inlet. It is our opinion that with these 3 mitigations, it will relieve any type of drainage issue that is presented to the neighbors to the east. And with that, that concludes my presentation, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions that anybody may have.
And before we go to the next portion, I want to just add to the fact that Seth is limited with his inability to point on this
Thank you.
screen.
Yeah.
But suffice it to say that the water will be piped in a southerly direction along the back side of the property, and then it will turn just west, and there's a storm gutter there, and everything will be draining there. So we will be the grades will be adjusted to make sure that those
Mm-hmm.
poolings don't happen. An additional down pipe will be added, and a full pipe will be added to make sure everything's brought down to where the storm gutter is for this property, assuring that the pooling concerns are gone. When I first started speaking to Nancy and the neighbors, I explained to them that I know that they've had a history with the university to the north of us, and I think part of that was the fear. But I thought I'd explain to them that this is a good opportunity for everyone because of the expansion. Even though it's not a gigantic expansion, we still have to fix the drainage. So it's a good opportunity to fix an issue that's God knows for how long they've had to deal with it. And we're very, very confident that that's going to go away. The other issue that Mr. Orlando Comas, if he's on, will be explaining very briefly as well is landscaping, which we are going to be enhancing above and beyond the call of duty and beyond what the code calls for purposes of mitigating impacts to the neighbors. So Orlando, are you on? And Bridget, if you can go to the sheet with the trees. There's a single sheet. No, there's one sheet that's, I think, LP6. There you go, that one. And you can, if you can zoom out, there you go. There you go, perfect. Mr. Orlando Comas, can you hear us? I don't know. I thought we're asking right. While we wait for Mr. Comas, I will add a third element that I want the council to be aware of. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. 9382.
Oh, maybe he's muted. He's muted. Tell him he's muted. While that gets worked out, let me mention a third item to the council. As I mentioned, we lose a little bit of parking because of the expansion. One of the things that we are in the process of doing is engaging the university next door. They have an abundance of excess parking. And we are engaging the university in an agreement where we will be renting, I believe, 40 spaces from the university that eliminates all of our problems because it will be our staff that will be walking to and from the university for parking. And as we know, this is a mental health hospital. These are not patients that drive in the first place.
Right.
It's more of staffing and visiting hours, which is 1 hour a day. But to make sure that there's no issues with parking, we're entering into an agreement, and we hope to have that in place by the time we come back for second reading.
Mr. Francis, can I ask Mr. Francis a question in the meantime? Are you still on, Mr. Francis? Is he on?
Seth,
He's muted.
unmute
He
yourself.
might,
They're going to ask you a
if we
question.
don't. There you
Sorry
go.
about that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You're a professional engineer, right? Yes,
That
you were.
is,
Yeah.
that is correct.
These water inlets, these catch basins or whatever will be catching the water there, do they end up in a drain field? Is that how we're going to be mitigating the water? Where does it end up? I know directional, it's going south, it's going west, but what does it end up in, a drain field?
Yes,
Yeah.
it ends up in a storm sewer network that is
Mhm.
connected to other surrounding storm sewer networks. And the way that they all work and the models have shown that they don't cause any drainage problems. The additive water to the system does not cause any ponding around the inlets. It is all taken with the storm system and, over time, drains out of the pipe and down to the system that it connects to at the street.
It connects to the street. Is that what you
Uh,
said?
It connects to a greater pipe system located beyond our site.
That's not a
Yeah.
drain field in the traditional
No, it's not.
septic tank system. This is sewer.
Gotcha.
Correct.
So can he hang up and call again?
Sorry, ma'am?
Can he hang up and call again? Is
Well,
that?
what I'm going to do, we're on first reading anyways. Mr. Alex Menendez, the principal for the owner, is going to give the council in Mr. Comas's difficulty a summary of what we propose to do on the landscaping, and we will hopefully have everything tied up.
Name and address for the record, sir.
Alex Menendez, 10520 Northeast Sixth Avenue, Miami Shores, 33138.
Thank you, sir. Go on.
The first trees you see on the top are trees that are existing on the property right now, which are pigeon plums. They're native trees. We're gonna relocate them from the area where we're doing the construction. We're gonna use them as a hedge on the top from the north, working our way south. Once we finish with those, we're gonna come up with bay runs, which are the ones that you see on the bottom, that are they're plump up
dense.
very good.
Mm.
We're gonna bring them at 14 feet high,
Wow.
which is gonna be.
You're gonna
more-
bring them that high
Yes,
already?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
We're gonna bring them that high, which are gonna go all the way from where that pigeon plums finish all the way to the south, south corner of the property. That whole area is gonna be swaled. That's what he didn't mention, but we're gonna swale it. So we have a swale, so whatever water doesn't get caught in those catch basins, they're gonna be swelled all the way down to the side of the parking lot, which goes back into the catch basins that are on the asphalt area. Any questions?
And in addition to the two meetings
No.
that I mentioned, Mr. Menendez met with Nancy again today, to make sure there was no further concerns, that she understood what we were proposing. I can only imagine her frustration wanting to speak today, but we will obviously will be hearing from her. But we've tried to do, I think this council, we heard this council talk, I heard members of this council a couple weeks ago talking about how this council has come along and made some really significant differences in Hialeah. And one of the things this council always encourages is that interaction with neighbors that are affected. And I think this is a process that has worked out because of that. We've met with them. It's very difficult to reach 100% agreement on these situations, right? But I think, and I've done this many, 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 many years, as some of you know, this is one of those where we've really tried to attack both key issues, which the first one was drainage, and the second one was landscape.
privacy.
We're hoping that this council will be satisfied with that. And as I mentioned, I encourage any possible motion of approval tonight to include conditions that we adopt the two things that we have shown this council tonight as a condition of approval, because we intend to do.
Understood. Any question? I wanted to ask Ms. Stork a question. Any question from the council?
Just a comment.
Yes, sir.
So first of all, there's a huge need for mental health. And when we went through COVID, I mean, it was amazing, neighbors of ours. So trust me that I lived it, I saw it, and probably we all saw it. So that's one. Number two is when I hear developers or anything talking to neighbors, I get excited. So I know Deborah also, so just a comment of that. Okay, so I know you're going to talk next week. I'm sorry about that. We'll listen to you, but it just, that's my opinion.
Yes, sir. Madam Stork. Yes, and Javi, you brought up something important, which is the concern of the Palm Springs Villas Association, that they've been promised, not by Southern Winds, not by you, sir, but they've been promised by other parties, specifically FNU, certain conditions that were going to exist in that multi-level parking lot, and the conditions existed for about a month, and then we couldn't enforce it. But let just so although you can't comment, I want for your benefit for you to listen to this, Nancy. Deborah, with this condition of the drainage he described, which seems like an elaborate feat of engineering, it seems like it's very well done, and landscaping, they don't get a CO if they don't, at the end, if they don't comply with that, right? I mean, they have to do this. They have to. And once that drainage, once that engineering is in the ground, it's not going anywhere. I mean, if they do it, it's done, right?
If it doesn't work, well, the neighbors will complain, they need to address it.
Yeah. But it sounds, I know you're an architect, not an engineer, but it sounds like it's going to be a pretty good program, right, ma'am? Yes. What was that? I'm sorry?
I go, she plays one on TV.
But she plays one
Engineer.
very well.
Yeah,
So
she said it
that's
on
got to
holiday
get
one
done. And the trees, unless they get struck by lightning or not properly maintained, they should be there to stay. Are these low maintenance trees? Or are they going to dry up if they're not, or can they rely on God? They're all native. But what I'm saying is, are they resistant? I mean, just, so they're going to live. Hopefully they're going to live.
Eh? Yeah.
Okay.
Can Nancy write down?
And there's still time for more conversation. Yeah, Nancy's great people. She takes great care of, she's been the association president there forever. And that's why the place is so beautiful still. A will of the council at this point?
Motion to approve?
Okay, motion to
With
approve.
condition- Are you going to
With-
do
And,
it?
and don't worry, Nancy, this is today. Go ahead.
I have a quick question. This condition that you're doing, it's a condition in writing, it's a condition that's going to be in zoning, a declaration of restricted, no, not a declaration, but it's
It's part of your ordinance. If you
a
look
part
at
of the
your
ordinance
it's
for
already
the approval.
Incorporated the plans that he submitted and he's discussed today as
Okay.
a condition to the permit.
Okay. And I know you can't speak, but you at least a little, oh, she went like this. Okay, excellent. That's great. Yeah.
Hey, and let me tell you, she's a tough cookie. She and I, butted heads a little bit.
Really? I can't
takes
imagine.
care-
I can't imagine, Javi.
But
I think
hey,
this
did
meeting's
wish
for
you a
her,
happy Mother's
Javi.
Day, right, Nancy? Did I wish you a happy Mother's Day? Okay. I did a good deed on Sunday. I want you to know.
So Javi, your first impression on women are usually like that, right? Bumping
No,
heads
no,
like
no,
that?
no, no, no.
Yeah.
It feels
Yeah?
like this
You
meeting,
sure?
this meeting's for her.
Well, through the chair,
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you again for Southern Winds for being in our community and helping all our residents and those in our community that need it. Thank you for being a good neighbor. It seems that you guys are listening not only to the residents, but also collaborating with the university, which is very important that you're, looking into all those options. So I appreciate that. And I concur. I don't know if it's a second or a motion, but motion to
I
approve with
think
conditions.
Did
We
I
have a
say
first and a
motion?
second, but thank you. Much appreciated. Okay, we're going to accept a motion from Councilwoman Casal Munoz, second from Madam VP, Madam Perez. So call the roll.
Ms. Garcia Robes?
Yes.
Ms. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Zogby?
Yes.
Ms. Casal Munoz?
Yes. I don't want to tell them our first meeting, but that's okay.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
Thank you. Have
Second
a good
reading
night.
and
Thank you.
public hearing is
Thank
scheduled
you.
for May 24th, 2022.
Thank you, Javi. I'll see you in 2 weeks, Nancy. Don't worry. Thank you. Have
Bye,
a great
Nancy.
night.
Everything else is on first reading.
Okay,
See?
we're
Everything else is first reading.
PZ3, please read it into the record.
First reading of proposed ordinance granting a special use permit to allow the expansion of the neighborhood business district overlay for the development of a 27-unit multifamily building pursuant to Hialeah Code of Ordinances, Section 98-1630.8, granting a variance permit to allow only residential uses where mixed use is required, allow residential use on the ground floor where residential use is allowed above ground floor level only, allow 18 residential units with area of 595 square feet, where 850 square feet is the minimum required, and only 10% of the units may have an area of 600 square feet. Allow 7 feet front setback on East 7th Avenue for encroachment of balconies above the ground floor where 10 feet built to line are required. Allow 32 parking spaces where 61 parking spaces are required, and allow 29.6% pervious area where 30% is the minimum required. All contra to Hialeah Code of Ordinances, Sections 98-1630.1, 98-1630.2, 98-1630.3, subsection E1, 98-2189, subsection 16A, and 98-2056, subsection B1. Property located at 40 East 10th Avenue, Hialeah, zoned C2, Liberal Retail Commercial District, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
PZ3 is on first reading, not open for public discussion. Did I hear you say motion? No, okay. Do we have the petitioner here, the property owner? Madam Stork, does anybody have a question before I ask them? Does this work with the parking deficiencies?
Yes,
Mhm.
I spoke with the architect. He wasn't present last time because he got COVID that day or the day
Oh, okay.
before. He was going to be here. I don't see him there, so.
Let's table the item if he's
You-
not in and
You want it?
motion to
Okay,
table.
motion to table.
Second.
We have a motion to table from Ms. Casal Munoz. We have a second from Councilman Calvo.
Thank you,
Please
Deborah.
call the roll.
Ms. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Zogby?
Yes.
Mr. Calvo?
Yes.
Ms. Casal Munoz? Ms. Casal Munoz?
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes?
Yeah, I know, it's me.
Motion carries. The item is tabled until May 24th, 2022.
Can you contact the owner? See if he- Thank you, Ms. Stewart. Yes, ma'am.
Could we do, can we do PZ7 now?
Yes.
I think Madam President wants to, she needs to go and she wanted to.
Oh, yes, yes. Is that the one for Frank de la Paz? All right, let's do it. PZ7.
Recommendation of denial by the Planning and Zoning Board to allow the replatting of the property into two substandard lots. Lot 1 having a frontage of 40.01 feet and total lot area of 5,399.91 square feet, where 75 feet and 7,500 square feet are required. And Lot 2 having a frontage of 40.01 feet and total lot area of 5,399.91 square feet, where 75 feet and 7,500 square feet are required. And once platted, allow the construction of a single-family house on each district for property located at 1140 West 32nd Street, Hialeah, zoned R1, one-family district.
PZ7 has a recommendation of denial. Pleasure of the council of, yes, ma'am, you are recognized. Mhm.
Or what had happened before, or, yeah, or you. No, we didn't give either change the zoning. What we were talking about, there was a confusion about the plat, the tentative plat. The plat is called tentative plat because it's tentative. It allows them to go through Miami-Dade County and then comes back to the city, and then it can be amended and is reviewed again by all the departments. So the plat being approved in zoning doesn't mean anything. My intent when I wrote the report is to make you aware that this is an area where that block and across the street, they still have larger lots. It's not a terrible thing if they decide to divide it. It's an old area, it's stagnant, so sometimes new construction, even if the lot is small, is still okay. But I wanted to bring up that to your attention so you can make a decision if you want to continue having small lots or you want to keep an area with larger lots. It's your decision.
Yes, ma'am.
In your opinion, as an architect and as been planner here for a while now, would you rather see on that large lot a duplex, or would you rather see two new homes?
Two new homes.
Two new homes?
Yes.
Okay.
Instead of a duplex. two new
Instead of a
homes.
duplex, two
Yes.
new homes. Okay,
Yes.
that's interesting.
And if I may through the chair.
Yes, ma'am.
In this radius, how many duplexes are within the
here-
legal duplexes?
The properties that are west of the subject property, they are zoned R2, but they are all developed as single-family homes. And I couldn't find the ordinance that rezoned those to R2. I couldn't find it anywhere. It's in our map, it says R2, and in the old maps, the maps that I inherited when I came here, it says R2.
Okay.
But I only found an ordinance that allowed them to build houses and single-family homes, and they have single-family homes.
Okay.
But yes,
So it's a
in
single
the
family
future-
home, but it has two front doors, but it's not a duplex.
No, it's a single-family home, but it has duplex zoning. So if tomorrow
Oh,
they
I
want to
understand.
demolish those four houses,
Uh-huh.
by right, they can come and build a duplex on each.
Got it. Okay. And then, perfect. Thank you, Ms. George. Okay.
So what's before us right now? Now, one lot wants to divide
No,
into
this.
two and build one house on each. Instead of,
that's what he
yeah,
wants.
that's what he wants. Instead of building one house on an 80-foot lot, he wants a variance to allow the replatting of the property into two substandard lots and build one single-family home on each.
On each lot.
On
Not
each
a
lot.
duplex.
Yeah,
Not-
not a duplex.
Okay. And that was denied? Or what was denied was a duplex?
No, it was the replatting of the property into two smaller lots was denied. That was my recommendation.
To the chair?
Like, that's why I asked her that question.
To the chair?
You done?
So
No,
my-
I
my-
just wanted to go. You're recognized, sir. Go
So
ahead.
my understanding is we want to get this 80-foot lot and we want to cut it in half and have two 40-foot lots, right? Yes, but within the 500-foot radius, how many 40-foot lots currently exist?
The 500-foot radius is for notice purposes.
Yeah.
What I always look is at the block and the block across the street. That's your street.
So in those blocks,
So there in my report, I put that most of the lots are bigger lots.
so is there any?
There's no 40-foot lot
So,
on
so
that
if we
block
did
or
this,
across
it'd
the
be the
street.
smallest lot on
Exactly.
these blocks.
It will be two smaller lots in an area where the lots are large.
Got it.
Mr.
Frank?
Chairman, good evening. My name is Frank De La Paz, 9361 Burr Road. I just passed out to you the copy of the radius map that was supplied to the city along with our application for the tentative and for the variances that are requested in order for that tentative to have any meaning if you so choose to approve. And I did a little coloring for you to visualize the neighborhood better. Everything that you see in yellow has been developed. There are 60 full lots. 60 foot. The one in pink to the left, to the west of our property, there are 70 full lots. The greens, which are the latest development to the east, they're 40 full lots on the corner of 11 and 32nd. And on the 11 ones that you see the little round balls, that was a subdivision that you created for the house on the corner. You divided it in two for some company called Hostbit something last year, and that's the newest house on a 54-foot lot. And I'm only talking about the frontage. I'm not going about the depth of the lot. The largest lot on the area, on the corner of 32nd and 11, you have a 70-foot lot with an old house that, and the 75-foot lot that also belongs to the bank, which are bound to be redeveloped. Now, 75-foot lots, which is the standard that we all want, within the neighborhood, basically you got three. The plat to the north, as Ms. Storch says in yellow, in the north side of 32nd Street, the whole subdivision was subdivided into 60-foot lots. To the south, it was developed in different sizes, and you got duplexes, and I didn't go into the duplex zoning because to me that's not my intent. But if you go to the south side on 31st Street, especially to the south side of 31st Street, you have a lot of duplexes backing out. To 30th Street and 30th Street, you also have several duplex. But since I'm not applying for duplex, that wasn't my intent to point out to you. What I do want to point out that the only 80-foot lots are our lots and the one behind us. Everything else has been developed at 70 or less on its majority, as you can see by the colors. And definitely the property needs to be redeveloped, but it would not really make any kind of sense to redevelop that lot in the middle of 60-foot subdivision as a 40-foot house. If not, Hostbit would not have subdivided a year ago the West 11th Avenue round green things between 31 and 32, because this really doesn't make sense to do anything on such a large lot. I do understand that the fact that we do have a tentative plat doesn't give me any right to have the variances in order to build on 40-foot lots. But that was the whole intent in the beginning, and this is something that runs one with the other. We would have never applied for it. You know, we got a recommendation for approval for the tentative to divide it into. Obviously, that gave me some indication that certainly it's something that would fit in the neighborhood that has been done before. And that's why we continue with the, at the same time, we submitted the tentative plan, we submitted the variances in order to have 2 40-foot lots. And If you have driven around the neighborhood, you see the changes that need to happen there. And I would really would like to just to have a ordinance come back with a recommendation to override the planning and zoning board and be able to build 2 new houses there, which are not anything out of the ordinary, with the rest of the neighborhood not being on 70 foot by 100 lots. There's hardly anything 75 foot on the whole neighborhood. if any.
Through the chair.
Any questions?
Sir.
I'm familiar with the area. At the beginning, when I saw it denial, I understood it, but I'm very familiar, and he's right what he's saying. This is my opinion to the council. I feel comfortable reversing this because as I walked, when I walked the whole city, I saw a lot of these homes, very nice neighborhood. In the corners, I saw well-kept homes too. So just my opinion on that. Okay?
Duly
Let it be
noted,
known.
sir.
That's
a motion?
To reverse the denial.
Mm-hmm.
Did I say that correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
And we.
So
and-
motion to reverse the denial.
Well, we have a motion to reverse the denial, so I'll solicit a second one. We have a second now to reverse the denial, and we call the roll.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Zogby?
Yes.
Mr. Calvo?
No.
Ms. Casal Munoz? Ms. Garcia Robes?
Yes.
Ms. Perez? Motion carries. The denial of the Planning and Zoning Board is overridden. First reading is scheduled for May 24th, 2022.
Thank you much. I just want to make sure that you understood that
Yeah,
I have
we're
to
good.
come back twice. For
Yes.
first and
Yes, sir.
second hearing.
Mr. Paz, I
Yes,
just
sir.
wanted to, I'm curious, how big is the property that you're going to build there? How many bedrooms, estimated bath?
This will be similar 3-bedroom, 2-bed houses, similar to the ones that we have built in other lots
Okay,
of similar size and much smaller.
okay.
And they all, have been,
It works.
Yeah.
has been a beautiful product that works.
Yeah, there's a few homes that I saw there that have a small.
The corner.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, all right.
You're welcome, sir. So we're back to,
Remember, the other options were duplicate.
Yeah, yeah.
we're back to PZ4.
That's where I feel comfortable with.
Please read PZ4 into the record, Madam Clerk.
First reading of proposed ordinance rezoning property from R1 One Family District to R33 Multiple Family District, granting a variance permit to allow front setback of 21.8 feet where 25 feet are required, allow street side setback of 6 feet where 15 are required, allow rear setback of 11.6 feet where 20 feet are required, allow total lot coverage of 31% where 30% is the maximum allowed, and allow 23% pervious area where 30% is the minimum required. All contra to Hialeah Code of Ordinances, sections 98-589, 98-590, 98-591, 98-2056, subsection B1, and 98-2056, subsection B2. Property located at 782 East 37th Street, Hialeah, Florida, zoned R1 One Family District, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. PZ4 is on first reading, not open for public discussion, but certainly open for our discussion here.
I'm a
Any
motion.
questions? Motion, we have a motion from Councilman Rodriguez. Second from Councilwoman Casals Munoz. Please call the roll. First reading. Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Zogby?
Yes.
Mr. Calvo?
No.
Ms. Casal Munoz?
Sorry.
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes?
Yes.
Ms. Perez has left the meeting. Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved. Second reading and public hearing is scheduled for May 24th, 2022.
Very good. Thank you. We've done PZ5. I'm sorry. Good night, Caesar. Good night. Is that what you're going to say? Thank you, sir. Okay, we're done PZ5, PZ6, PZ7, and we're up to 16, final decisions, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please read into the record.
Proposed resolution approving the final decision of the Planning and Zoning Board Decision number 2022-06, granting an adjustment on the property located at 5958 West 13th Court, Hialeah, zoned R1, one family district, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. FD1, pleasure of the council.
Motion.
No, I'm looking over, see if I've.
Motion.
Motion from Councilman Calvo. Are you confusing me with your voice?
Hold on, it's my turn.
Was it, who was it? What?
Hold on, I'm not ready.
You ready?
No, he's not.
Oh, I thought it was his voice. I was going to say, now I'm going crazy. Okay. So we have a motion from Councilman Calvo.
Second.
Okay. Did you have a comment you wanted?
No,
Okay, you ready for your
We're
second?
good, we're good,
Second from
we're good.
Councilman Rodriguez, please call the roll.
Yes.
Yes, as mentioned here. Right?
Mr. Zogby?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Mr. Calvo?
Yes.
Ms. Casal Munoz? Ms. Garcia Robes?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
Thank you. Please read FD2 into the record.
Proposed resolution approving the final decision of the Planning and Zoning Board, decision number 2022-07, granting an adjustment on the property located at 517 East 10th Street, Hialeah, zoned R1, one family district, and providing for an effective date.
Pleasure of the council.
Motion.
Motion from Councilman Calvo. Second from Councilwoman Casal Munoz. Please call the roll.
Mr. Calvo?
Yes.
Ms. Casal Munoz?
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Zogby?
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
We have a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Oh, yes, ma'am, you're recognized.
Yes, ma'am. This with the, about the sunshine law, is there a reason why we just started or just started? This is a reminder.
No, it was a discussion we had with Councilmember Calvo about taking the tour up to West Palm Beach. So that's the answer.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian.
So we have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 9:09 PM. Good night.